Hi there guys, my name is Jacob and welcome back to the channel. Now I was just sat checking my emails and I noticed that Octopus Energy are running a free electricity session today between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. So I just thought I would make this video and run you through exactly how I make the most of these free electricity sessions. Now the first thing that I will be doing, as I said, because the session is between 2 and 3, I will be setting my battery to export energy between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. So that's the hour before. And the reason I do that is because, firstly, I get paid to export energy to the grid. So for the hour before the free energy session, I'm going to export to the grid and free up space in my battery. Now my battery, it's currently 11 a.m. and my battery is at 100%. Now, it's not that sunny today, to be quite honest, but I charged my battery overnight on a cheap rate, and there is enough sun to cover the house base load and keep my battery topped up at 100%. So I am going to export from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. and free up space in my battery. Now, I will be able to export probably about 3.5 kilowatts in that hour. So roughly that's going to make me about 50p for sending that energy to the grid. Then what I'm going to do is set my battery to charge back up from 2 till 3 in the free energy session. So that means I'll have give away energy and got paid for it at about 50p. But then I'll pull that same energy back into my battery, but that won't cost me anything. So I'll charge back up to 100% within the energy session. And as I said, at the end of it, I'll be back at 100%. But I will have earned that 50 pence for exporting. And that's a really good way for me to make the most of the energy session. Now, because I don't have an EV, really that is kind of the best way that I can make the most of these sessions. But of course, there are other things I can do, like get some jobs done around the house. So I've already prepped it, but I've got a washing machine full of washing ready to go. I've also got my dishwasher is full as well. That is ready to go. So I'll be putting these on probably at around, I don't know, 5 to 10 to 2. So once they kind of kick through and start working, because, you know, they take a couple of minutes to get going. Once they start working, then they'll be pulling the most power that they pull within the 2 till 3 energy session. Now there's a couple of other things I can do around the house, like I could do some hoovering, I can put things on charge like laptops and phones, things like that. But to be honest, they're quite low energy devices anyway, so they don't pull all that much. But the main point of these sessions is to try and get your highest energy, devices such as washing machines, dishwashers, batteries, all that type of stuff. Get those working and, saving yourself money on your energy bills. Now, for someone like me who's got solar panels on the roof and a battery in the garage, there's less for me to save in these sessions than for somebody else who is on a standard tariff. Because, I charge my battery for about 7 or 8 pence overnight on a smart tariff. So, I really am only saving kind of 8 pence for every kilowatt that I use in this session. But for somebody else who's on a standard tariff, who's paying maybe 25 pence a kilowatt, there's a lot to save and a real reason to take part in these sessions. So, not to discourage anybody else, but what I would say is if you are on a standard tariff, or even just a normal fixed tariff, you don't have solar, you don't have a battery, things like that, then I would absolutely encourage you to take part in these free electricity sessions. Get the jobs done that you need to do, get all those high-powered devices working, and save a little bit of money on your energy bills. Now, if you're not with Octopus, but you would like to take part in these energy sessions, then I've got a link down in the description box, and that is a referral link. So if you want to switch over to Octopus Energy, you can do, and that will get you a £50 credit just for switching over to Octopus Energy using my link. And I'll get £50 too if you use it. So, if you do, thank you very much. Now, a common question I hear from people online and, people I know is why do we actually have these free energy sessions? And that is, a good question, really. But, Today, for example, it is because there is a lot of free energy in the grid from excess wind energy. And I think the way it works is basically it costs energy companies more to get rid of energy that can't be used in the grid than it does to just give it away for free. So that is exactly what they do when there's a lot of excess energy in the grid and they know it's not going to be used. Rather than them costing, themselves a lot of extra money to get rid of that energy, they just tell, as I say, they send an email out to their customers saying between this time, you can use basically whatever you want and it's free. And that does them a favor, but it also, as customers, does us a big favor too. Now, the way this works is it is free energy, make no mistake about that. However, when you actually use the energy, like today, when I put my dishwasher on and my washing machine on and I charge my battery between 2 and 3, effectively, that is actually going to charge me at the peak rate charge. So on my tariff, that will cost me about 28 pence a kilowatt in the moment that I use that energy. However, in about a week's time, Octopus Energy will calculate exactly what I used within that hour, and then they will credit that back to my account. So if, say, I use £1.50 worth of energy at that kind of peak rate between 2 and 3, they'll calculate exactly what I used and pay it me back. So it's almost like they bill me for it today, but then credit it back in a week's time, which effectively makes it free. So don't worry if you are taking part in these sessions and it's your first time taking part. And in a day or so, you check your Octopus app and think, oh, they've billed me for that energy. That is effectively what it looks like, but in a week's time or so, they credit it back, so don't worry about that at all. It does all work out, and it is, in fact, free energy. So make hay while the sun shines, get everything on, get your devices charging. As I said, get your washing machine on, your dishwasher, and of course, do everything safely. Try not to overload your house, doing crazy things. But get as much on as you can and just do as many jobs as you can. If you've got an electric car, get that car on charge, because ultimately that's got to be the best way of making use of these sessions. Anybody with an EV, because you can pull so much energy at one time and get that in the car, you can get a lot of free fuel out of these sessions. So anyone with an EV, get your car on charge. Right then, guys, I'll leave it there. This is just a short one. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments how you make the most of these free energy sessions. I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun little game, and I just try and make the most of them, really. Some people think it's pointless and not really worthwhile taking part, but I don't think that. I think it is definitely worthwhile taking part. So let me know down in the comments how you make the most of it. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. And guys, I'll catch you in the next one.